All right, here we go. I'm almost done with my warm-up, but I'm gonna be attempting this 6-minute mile. Turning 30 years old, 6-minute mile. Let's kick it in the face. What's up, everybody? Levi Jaeckel here, back with another video. Back with a special edition birthday video. Not just any birthday. This week, I turned 30 years old. Oh, it's crazy. I turned 30 a couple days ago. Feel great. I don't feel too much different. But turning 30 was something that I was aware of. At the beginning of the year, I made a video talking about how 2020 was going to be different than a lot of years in my life up to this point. Now, as we know, 2020 certainly has been much different than we anticipated, but you know, the video that I made a couple months ago was talking about just my personal life. So this was definitely gonna be a big year for me no matter what. Earlier in the spring, we had our daughter, so I knew that by the time I turned 30, I would be a father of 2. So because I knew I had a few big things going on in my personal life, I decided to just go all in on a couple physical goals as well. So I set a couple of physical goals for myself all the way back in December that I would do on my 30th birthday. And like the whole idea behind that was basically just to come in and just punch 30 right in the face, right? So, I mean, if you guys are 30, you know, like turning 20 isn't a big deal. Turning 30, that little voice starts playing in your head that you're getting old. So anyways, I wanted to just come out swinging and just knock a couple things right out of the park. The first goal that I set for myself was to deadlift 500 pounds. That would have been a personal PR of mine, and that would have been a 2.5 times body weight deadlift. So unfortunately, being away from the gym, you know, and having the 2 babies at home, it just wasn't practical for me to train for that deadlift. I would have had to bring all of that weight into the garage, and then we got the little man, you know, crawling all over the weight all the time, and we're working around it, and it just wasn't gonna happen. So unfortunately, that training cycle kind of got postponed. Not canceled, just postponed. The second goal that I set for myself was on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and I did that intentionally. So I told myself that on the day I turned 30, I'm gonna run a 6-minute mile. Just to give you a little bit of context, back in high school, I did run track. I was pretty decent at those middle to longer-ish distances, not super long distance, but you know, 4s, 800s into the mile. I was good enough to go to state from a small town, farm town, Iowa school. The fastest mile time that I think I ever recorded, and I did try to go back and find this exactly, but I think the fastest mile that I ever ran was a 5:27. So I figured that a 6-minute mile would be a pretty good milestone. I haven't run regularly in years, literally years, like a lot of years. In January, I started running. I was doing like every day or every other day. I was just getting like an easy mile in, okay? So I just wanted to kind of feel what that distance felt like again and just kind of get a reference point. I needed to rebuild my reference point for what a mile felt like. Those early miles that I was running, I mean, they were legitimately, they were 10-minute miles. You know, I would go and my heart rate would go through the roof. My legs, you know, my legs felt pretty good throughout most of this. They would get a little bit sore, but it was mostly just my cardiovascular work capacity. My heart rate would go through the roof and I would just be gasping for air, you know, really, really easily. So fast forward a couple months, you know, I was deadlifting all the way through March, and then I was running as well. But then we all know how spring 2020 went and we all got shut down. And so I decided to kick it up on the running side. So I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to deadlift. And so I started to really just kind of dial in on my running. Now the running that I did, it was like not structured whatsoever. So, you know, I work with professional athletes in the off season and I understand what like true training programs look like. And I will be the first to tell you that what I was doing this spring, you know, out on the roads was not structured whatsoever. Because we were in lockdown and because, you know, my whole family's life had been flipped upside down, most of my runs, and I'm talking like 8 out of 10 runs, I was doing them pushing my son in his stroller. You know, my wife was with baby Emma and Liam's a crazy man, you know, and I knew that he couldn't just hang out at home while my wife is trying to feed the baby or whatever, while I go chase this crazy goal of mine. So I decided to take him with me. Most of the time I was just focused on keeping a consistent pace. Find that pace that was challenging and just hold on to it for as long as I could. You know, sometimes I would do that for time and sometimes I would do that for distance. But I would just kind of just hang on to a steady pace for as long as I could. If the runs were shorter, you know, I'd cover 2.5, 3.5, sometimes 4 miles. And then if I had a little bit more time, I would push to 5+ miles.
Perform24 fam, what up y'all? You know, I'm about to hit a milestone I never thought I would do. Even 4 weeks ago I thought this was impossible. I'm about to hit a 5-mile run with the stroller. Now the time isn't quite what I hoped it was, but hey, more room for improvement, right? But 5 miles, that's a big deal for me. Hope y'all are having a good week.
So about 2 weeks or so before my 30th birthday, Liam and I went out for a longer run. And it was just one of those things where I got out there, and again, like, I'm pretty in tune with my body and I felt pretty good. We went at a different time of the day than we usually do, and it wasn't that busy, and we had a route that was away from traffic and away from other runners and bikers, and I just decided to go for it. I ended up running a 6:22 mile. And when I finished that and looked at the time, I mean, I was dead, certainly I was dead, but when I looked at the clock, I was like, okay, you know, if I can do a 6:22 just kind of on the fly, out in the middle of the day with the sun, and I'm pushing this crazy man in a stroller, I should be able to gut out a 6-minute flat mile if I'm running on a track. I know that it's coming, you know, I know that I can prepare for it, and I won't have a stroller. So when I hit the 6:22, I thought that I was ready. So on Sunday, we packed up. We went to a local school. I knew that I could use their track for the morning. So we went to a local middle school. It was a concrete track, you know, it wasn't a rubber track, it wasn't anything nice, which is totally fine. I'm not a nice guy. And so we went there to go run this mile. And the one thing that I always tell people about what makes track different than all the other sports that I competed in, and the reason that I hated track more than any of the other sports that I participated in, was that the X factor, the variable that determines your success or failure on the track, is literally your ability to withstand pain. It's your ability to go within yourself, and just to push yourself to the point that you didn't think you could go. So you have to go into that dark place and just shut everything out and just live there until the run is over. And I remember that feeling from high school, and I got that feeling on Sunday.
It's almost go time. Warmed up. It's time to hit this clock and run this sucker. I'm a little nervous. Got some butterflies. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
I knew that it was gonna hurt. I knew that my legs can handle it. I was pretty confident that my legs could handle it. And so it was just all about my mind. Like, I wasn't sure if my mind could go to that place and gut it out. So my personal strategy for this mile test was to just put myself into a position where I could gut out the 6-minute mile if I was close. My biggest fear was that I would be too slow around the first 3 laps, that it didn't matter what my last lap was, I wasn't gonna get there.
1 minute, 3 seconds. Number 1. Go, Dada, go, Dada, go. Go, Dada, go.
The first lap felt great. It was super easy, super smooth. And I did check my watch. There was a pace that I was trying to hit at the 400 meter mark, at the one lap around, and I did check that a little bit after I passed that mark, and I was on pace. And so as soon as I saw that I was on pace, that's kind of when the blinders went up and I just went dark. It just is like tunnel vision, and everything just kind of compresses, and all you see is that lane that you're running in.
Here we go. Number 2. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Go, Dada! 2 down, 2 to go. Woo!
So I'm showing a couple clips of my wife, at the starting line filming the run. And I didn't really tell her what to expect. She knew that I was going to be running it, but she didn't know, how close it was going to be, or, how hard I was going to have to push myself. And she wasn't aware of like the splits that I was trying to meet or anything like that. She was just out there just kind of filming. But coming around the last corner and into the straightaway, I could hear her yelling the times. And it was super, super helpful. I'm not sure that I would have been able to push that hard if I was completely by myself. She was with me, the 2 kids were there, and she was kind of shouting out the times, and so I knew that there was a shot that I was going to get this, and so I just went for it. Like the last 150, I was just giving it all I had, which wasn't much, but I was certainly giving what I had.
All right, it's got a little over 30 seconds. Come on! 25 seconds. Let's go. Let's go. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. Come on, you're almost there. Don't slow down. Don't slow down. Go, go, go. Oh, 5:49. Woo, Dada. Here, let's go say good job, Dada. Let's go. Get him. Go, Liam! You got it! Run the 6-minute mile! Nice job, babe! Nice job! Keep going!
And so the final time that I got was 5:49. I beat the 6-minute mile that I set out to do. And I gotta tell you, I am pretty pumped about that. This was something that was a big challenge for me. I had a hard deadline to hit it by. There was a reason behind the goal. I had the turning 30 years old as a milestone and kind of as motivation, just to smash that life event in the face. And so to hit 5:49 on a mile, that felt pretty good because I had to earn it. This wasn't something that I just kind of had in my back pocket that I set out there that I set out in front of myself to kind of accomplish without trying for it. Like, I had to actually work and hit this. And it doesn't mean anything. Like, my life has certainly not changed whatsoever because I accomplished that goal, but it's the process of setting a tough goal, and it's the process of working to ultimately achieve that challenging goal that makes it so awesome.
Oh, I knew I could do it. Just a matter of pushing myself. I feel so excited. I wanted that so bad. I wanted that so bad. Now we got a family lunch.
So at the very least, hopefully this newly minted old man has inspired some action in you. And I do think that it might inspire a few of you guys to set some challenging goals for yourself. And please, if you do set some goals for yourself, let me know what they are. I will motivate you to complete them. So as always, I appreciate all of you guys and I will catch you in the next video.